guys, welcome back to the channel. You know, there's something special, kind of unique about pawn shops. You can go into a big guitar store any day of the week, and you're going to find all the usual gear. Buying guitars online, on the other hand, lots of variety to be found for sure. But of course, you're really missing the hands-on experiences and taking a bit of a gamble as to what you're going to get once it actually arrives in the mail. The pawn shop, though, is a bit of a different animal. You never know quite what to expect the moment you walk into a pawn shop, and therein lies the fun. And if you're anything like me, you probably get downright giddy the moment you step inside those pawn shop doors. Next thing you know, you make weird giggling sounds as you begin to levitate off the ground and you shoot confetti out of your mouth before exploding dramatically into a ball of brightly colored flames. That's the plain truth of what happens in pawn shops, folks. I wouldn't lie to you. Now just today I stumbled upon a cool old vintage early 80s axe in my local pawn shop. Kind of an old model I've been looking to pick up for a long time, so let's check it out. So let's open it up, check it out here. Alright, here we are, folks. Hello, Daddy! Yeah, so here it is. This is an early 80s Series A guitar. Not sure if there was even a model name for this particular guitar. This one probably dates from about 1981 or 1982. And if it looks like an early 80s Fender Bullet, it's a not so subtle copy of that very guitar. These were made for about 3 years, from about 1980 to about 1983, somewhere in there. These were reportedly made by Samick in Korea and made for import into Canada only. Now, like many Korean guitars of this era, the body on this is definitely plywood. It's got the standard 25.5 scale, 2 ceramic pickups, a glossed maple neck and rosewood fretboard. String through body, hardware, not so great, but what do you expect from that era? Now, as you can see, this old girl's definitely seen some wear and tear. It has the patina of age on it. It's got a few nicks and dings here and there, but definitely no huge damage, and I kind of like the
fact that it's a blatant and almost shameless ripoff of an early 80s Fender Bullet Deluxe.
This is pretty much non-functional electronics-wise. I played it at the shop. It started to crackle and short out a bit. Sounded pretty good, actually, but I think the trip home finally did in the electronics, because it's definitely not working now, but you know, I bought it for real cheap on the premise that I'd have to redo the electronics anyway, so there you go. But wait, there's more! To round out this pawn shop combo, I also picked up this sweet old Peavey Audition, which I believe was made around 1984. This is one of the early Peaveys with a 3-band EQ along with pre and post gain, a push-pull saturation on the post gain, and a push-pull thick on the treble knob. Now, this is amazingly clean for an amp that's 40 years old. Of course, had one scratchy volume pot which was fixed instantly with a shot of contact cleaner, and other than that, this one looks almost as fresh and new as it would have looked coming right out of the factory. Personally speaking, I'm excited as hell to test this fine-ass little Peavey out. Anyways, to get started, let's get this down to the bench, crack it open, take a look at the insides, and see how we can fix this up to make this old gem rock once again. I'll see you at the table. Start by checking out what's under the hood as usual. Scraping a bit of paint off the cavity reveals this is indeed the finest of early 80s Korean plywood. Cavity itself, as you can see, pretty unexceptional and dirty. I'd like to crack open an old Bullet one day to see if they copied the cavity design from that too. Electronics, nothing special, old dime-sized 500K pots and a strange mix of cloth and plastic-coated wiring. Old mechanical switch here too. And this is one of those old short switches, so a new switch unfortunately won't fit the pick guard, but that's okay. I think we can clean this out and use it again. Interestingly, both of these single coils clock in at an almost identical 8.2, so yeah, lots of balls on these buggers. And yeah, no wonder. Look at how stacked these are. On to the work here. First order of business is to try to get these deep gouges and scratches out of the pick guard. Key here is to use a plastic polish like old Plastex here. This is not a paid endorsement, by the way, just a product that works for me. That said, put a dab on, that's actually a bit too much. And to make this work, You gotta rub this into the scratches with your fingers until you can feel those scratches being polished. And then the usual cloth. Give it a good hard buff with the buffer. And I'll repeat this a few times, but this is starting to get results. You're gonna see a lot of the finer scratches in there for a while until you really kind of polish and buff, but yeah. Other small cosmetic issues with this is the usual hump that forms in cheap plastic pickguards after years of stress. So a couple passes with the heat gun at low heat to get it pliable. Piece of plywood, a couple of weights, leave that for 24 hours and repeat if necessary. Now as for the mod, I'm just going to do the usual push-pull series mod. Got a diagram for that already on my Instagram, so I'll link to that in the description. Kind of curious to see how these fat ceramic singles do in a series configuration, and of course this needs new pots anyways. I did end up reusing the switch, just a good spray with some contact cleaner, and it was pretty much good to go. Now that that's done, this neck's obviously going to need some fret work. After 40 plus years in action, it's got a couple of unlevel frets here and there. So just a light sanding with 400 grit paper. I don't want to take too much off these frets, they've lost some material with age already. And light crowning with the old file. Some smoothing out with 000 grade steel wool, and it should be dandy for our demo. Now that that's done, a quick wash with some oil soap. And of course some good old Dunlop lemon oil. Finally, after 40 years, these tuning keys have pretty much yanked on their last string. That didn't sound right. After 40 years, these keys are pretty worn, so I'll just go ahead and replace these with some budget Amazon tuners. And these are more or less a direct drop. Screw holes don't entirely match up, but they're close enough. And I think they look decent too. That said, here's the final deal. Did a few final things like adding some basic replacement saddles, new knobs, and a switch tip, and a bit of final polish, but it's looking better now, and of course everything works just like it would have out of the factory so many years ago, maybe even better in some regards. Still a few scuffs to get out, maybe I'll get a pro to repaint this one day, who knows, but for now, let's get this up to the old console and hear ourselves a quick and dirty demo.
Gonna make it real with my pawnshop special. Gonna make the sounds you need from the blues to heavy metal, yeah.
Well guys, there it is, a classic little pawn shop combo if I ever saw one. You got this old Series A Fender Bullet knockoff here, definitely as early 80s as they come, and really a moment at a time. Really liked it. Actually played quite well, and the pickups actually sound kind of cool, almost like Telly-like with that extra output, especially in the bridge position. And of course with this Peavey amp, I mean, you know, this Edition 20, nice little amp. I was actually pleasantly surprised at this. You know, again, a 40-year-old amp, but just as clean and as good a shape as any. You know, a few little shots of deoxit in the pots, and all scratchiness and everything is gone, and you could keep this on for hours as I did and play perfectly well. Just a bit of tweaking and you can get some pretty good sounds out of these. Anyways, like I said at the start of this video, so many guitar tubers, and myself included, spend all this time looking for that cheap guitar on Amazon to showcase, or tripping over themselves to get their hands on the latest custom shop Fender or Gibson, or really just featuring and showcasing guitars which have very little relevance to the average player, especially beginners. And yes, like I said a couple seconds ago, I'm guilty of that too. Probably in a few more videos I'll feature some kind of pointless cheap guitar teardown and rebuild. So yeah, when it comes down to it, I agree. I'm at fault as any guitar tuber for really not doing what I should do, which is promoting local businesses, whether it's a pawn shop or your local mom and pop guitar shop, more often. Anyways, I will sum it up by saying again and again, maybe when we really think about it, all we really need is to put all these fancy guitars, cheap guitars, expensive guitars, unique, whatever, aside and really just touch glass. Get your ass into a pawn shop, sit down, grab an old guitar or an amp like this, and play a bit of rock and roll. And if you could do so, and if you could find something you like, and especially find a 40-year-old combo like this that really rocks for under $200, you won't just have something that's unique and stands out against the crowd of all that shiny new gear out there, but you'll have something special, and something you'll be proud to keep rocking with for the next 40 years. Thanks again for joining me on this journey, guys. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and so on and so forth. Keep on playing, and keep watching the channel for a whole lot more.